Salutations. So, if anybody knows me, then they know that I'm pretty much obsessed with the tree of life, or the study of it, or drawing it and stuff, whatever. I've spent most of my time doing that when not, just not doing anything. But anyway, I'm wanting to make a video about this, but it's hard for me to talk about because I begin to ramble about different ideas that aren't even necessarily expressed unless, like, already. It wouldn't be intuitive necessarily. I don't know, actually, because, well, no, that's not true. This, a lot like the Tuarmi pattern, is something that I am convinced holds, clearly holds information that I don't understand. But in the practical sense, that if the right person were to look at these images and apply them to the right way, they would be able to have some sort of success in their work. Like patterns lining up, And then I started thinking about the Tuarmi pattern, the nodes that stick off the pattern. See these? These are on the circle. So were I to make a single one, a single star, I could thicken this up and put Tuarmi stars around these tips too. Right here. I've selectively placed them in here to make it easier for people to see the pattern, but this would be doubled up if I put every one available. It would look like the shield. I'm only bringing this up to get across the idea of scale and complexity within that. So these are all Tuarmi lines. Every shape is Tuarmi. They're just at different scales. Right? Same thing here. This is all tree of life. All these lines are tree of life within their respective seeds. And the original reason I started this type of work was to get the scale of the body in the flower of life, and then start to study it as a thing. So in books you'll see it in different sizes. The fruit is basically, as you can see, this is the fruit, and then sometimes you'll see the tree right above that. Here it's 2 above it, and in this one I was able to push it a little bit further out. But see, now that I extended the fruit in here, it made me think, well, is it actually far enough? Because that kept bugging me because I couldn't put the pathways in necessarily. I mean, I did point pathway, but the way I have the Sephiroth, the size that they are, it just doesn't make sense. Why isn't this playing? Oh, this stuff is really bugging me right now. Anyway, I can't ever be happy with it. So now I got this. I've had this. See, I've had this page drawn up for a long time to represent part of the drawing that is the concentric circle patterns. It's hard, you see, well, clearly you see it, but what you're looking at is concentric flower of life patterns. There's 4 of them to represent the 4 worlds of the tree. Now on my big one, we had pages hung up to the wall, duct tape to the back of them, just going across my wall and then going down. So like the black circles, like this scale, were the size of CDs on my original tree, just to give you an idea. And we drew Malkuth the whole way down, which, to give you an idea what that even means, Hod, Netzach, they are on the edge, so that becomes the Tifereth. Draw that fruit or seed there. That's how I get these paths. So when you, and not just the path, but how far to go. So when you do Malkuth is at the bottom, so it would be from here and then one down here. So instead of them overlapping like these do, it would be seed to seed 10 times down. Well, 9 times, I guess. And then fruit at the bottom. So we had that going 10 times down with the fruit. The fruit is the shield. I had that drawn separate, and I was going to glue it onto the paper once we had all the circles drawn. Me and Jeremy drew circles for days and days. Anyway, but that all represented below the waters. So there's this idea that we are expanding our horizon. So Malkuth is the earth, but this new body that's growing is exceeding planetary scale. So it descended into a Clippeth. So the original tree also had a Clippeth to it. That's what I was getting at. I think I was recording another video. Anyway, the Great Turn is perfect way to describe the Clippeth and the Tree of Life, in terms that it's actually one being. It's a tree that has a positive and a negative expression. Now, it also represents those who choose to express and carry the light, uplift those who do not. The light transmission comes from Kether through all the other Sephiroth into Yesod. Yesod acts as a filter to Malkuth, because were you to receive the direct influx of divine intelligence, it would not go well for you, or the divine presence for that matter. I mean, I'm sure it would be fine, but what it desires is for you to understand. I shouldn't say that. Okay. There's like a red team and a blue team that are balancing out humanity in this game they play, because too much of a good thing spoils the planet. Too much of a bad thing spoils the planet. Humanity can't, it's not safe for us to handle either extreme. So we intentionally create an admixed state. Hey, buddy, why don't you hang out here? And we slowly but surely are fed light from everywhere. It's just a matter of like tuning in. They always talk about tuning in, but the more I try to explain stuff, they say that for a reason, because it's really, there really aren't a lot of like ways to describe. Again, okay, this is what my problem comes down to, is words. This is why I draw this pattern, is that when I say something, the wave function collapse onto a belief, and people hear me say something I did not intend to say, and there's no way around it. So like I have to intentionally talk shit that sounds crazy, because anytime I say anything close to the truth, it sounds even crazier. Does that make sense? Like, you can say stuff, right, to people, the truth, and it kind of just washes over them. Or they don't care. Here is the big thing. So when you say, if you breathe properly with intention, you gain access to higher states of consciousness. Right? You can just say that to people. But are people going to sit there and practice breathing all the time? I mean, they do. There is yoga. But I mean, they are doing it to calm down. Most people that do yoga and meditate are going from an anxious state to a calm state, as opposed to going from a normal state to a heightened state, or introspective even. Like, okay, the fact that the light transmission is constant must be why people are constantly on the move. See, when I was growing up, everybody lamented the idea of working for the man or being a sellout or whatever that is anymore in this culture. But to me, it always was, well, yeah, like, why help somebody you don't like? And then they say, for money. It's like, so like, if you hated somebody and what they did with their life and to people in their life, you would not only ignore them and just let them do their thing, live and let die, but you'll work for them and help perpetuate the system. That's what I wanted to talk about, the system. Okay, so we talk about the light transmission, the great turn, DM Turner. What are we turning from, people? Well, we are turning from the prison system. As far as I can tell, there is at least 2 or 3 generations in of people born in prison. I don't mean necessarily that they are in jail or that their family is in jail, but they are affected by people's families who are in jail. Now, first, I gotta preface this that my grandfather was the sheriff of my hometown, as in he kept the prisoners. He lived with prisoners back in the 70s. That was his house, it was my mom's house. Um, Ira. This is Ira Rhodes burning some pot out back of the local jail in the 70s. You know, just to give the guys a nice day. They all had their heads hanging out. I wish I had that picture, but it's right beside them. You can't see it. So, what do you mean, Trav? How are we in a prison, man? What are you talking about? Well, okay. There was a study done, I forget when, and it's about wolf packs and how they orient themselves. And it was determined that there are alphas, and they kind of run the show, and everybody else kind of tags along. They have to pick the women, yada yada yada, and the bitches love it. It's not like they're upset. Those are the alphas. They love them. They whatever. They're these are wolves, so let's not look too much into that. So in our culture, we have this whole alpha, sigma, beta shit. I don't even really know. I see the words, but I hear it more and more. And I didn't connect the dots until recently. But the wolf pack study of alphas is done in captivity. So those wolves are prisoners. They're not wild animals in nature. They are captured and enslaved with one another in confined areas. So the game they have to play is alpha to survive. It's what they defaulted to in that situation. In nature, wolf packs, all packs of anything, are, can you guess what they are? Families. Right, Puddles, they are families. Puddles knows. There is a father and a mother and their cubs. Right, Puds? And they travel together. And they mingle with other family packs. Sometimes they join up, sometimes they just move along. But they help keep each other alive until, you know, they die. The idea of an alpha doesn't exist to them. That's not how they orient themselves. It's not even a concept they would use. What they use is stranger danger or grumpy hungries. You know, it's all about survival. Nature is hostile when it's hungry and scared, and unfortunately, because of humanity fucking raping nature, a lot of it's scared and hungry because we destroyed like just everything. So alphas in our society are a product of generation after generation of people being in war or prison or prison. It creates the same mentality the wolves had, as in your constant observation. So you default to I don't give a fuck about the observation, You're torn away from your family, or they are killed, and so you have no family ties anymore. So our entire society, planet at this point, is a prison planet. And since World War II, they have been keeping people in a. It's like we've had. Well, it's like we've had an atomic bomb bashed against our collective fucking skull, because we've had atomic bombs smashed against our collective fucking skulls. Oh man. So those who this is what I try to explain to people about my town, the town I live in. People always ask about everybody hates their hometown. Everybody, I understand that, but usually they're nice places. But a lot of these places, they're here because they were war engines. The Standard Steel is what this place is. I'm gonna write a book called Standard Steel. I wanted to make a video game called Standard Steel when I was younger, and it's just a mile of Standard Steel is a mile long building of steel smelting or whatever here, and right down the street from where I used to live in Burnham, and and we used to make rings. They used to make rings for missiles for the war effort back in the good old days. And there's monuments in the center of town about us being some of the first militias to go down and fight. I don't know if it was Gettysburg or somewhere, maybe even farther south. People from here went. But what I'm getting at is a very militaristic / Amish town. But family. It's family oriented. Almost family oriented. You know what I mean? But not in a crazy kind of way. Just certain families want to own certain businesses, and if there's only anyway, competition breeds ingenuity or treachery. But this whole alpha prison great turn clippeth talk, what I'm getting at is, I think we're at the point where we know what the problem is. We all are yeah, this is what's wrong, yeah. And then you continue to go do the thing because you've lived so long as a hypocrite. Why? How can you stop? We're all just hypocrites. We are not all hypocrites. I hate to inform you. Some of us, what you call pieces of shit and dredges and what is the word? Homeless, jobless, worthless. Those people who don't drive a car ever, who don't turn on a light switch because they don't even have the chance to, or waste time uploading videos or driving their new car around. Do you remember what it looked like when COVID was really bad and everybody was in their houses? Like the world. You remember what the world looked like? Nature. And do you see what it looks like now? That people are out playing games again? If you all don't be still, every fucking year, for months at a time. Like, just don't have kids, I guess. I recommend you not to have children. I would maybe have a lot. You know, the whole family thing, the pack survives together. And you end up eating them, I don't know. Because I don't know how you're going to teach your children to farm when you don't know how to farm. Like, most people live, like, I can Google or YouTube it, so someday I will. As opposed to just sit and learning the thing you want to learn and doing the thing you want to do. I understand we all need to make money to survive. Because Caesar and all. But if you see the things I see, you know that there's a difference between oiling the machine and picking the pockets of the people. And it's because so many people have their hands in the people's pockets. There are governors and senators who are so deep into corruption that they're thinking about running for presidency just to mask their crimes, because absurdity seems to somehow what it is it's the QAnon thing, where we dull you down, rapist, murderer, Satan worshipping pedophile vampires, so that when somebody says that pedophile rapist, it gets drowned out in the Satan worshipping, Moloch fucking, baby burning, rape, you know? The siren, the air raid, yeah. But not even down. It's the one that goes up and up. It keeps going up. If everyone were still, you would see who's doing the fucked up shit, because they can't help it. Those people went fucking crazy during COVID. Anybody who had some vice they couldn't get, anybody who truly hated their family, all of them went crazy. This shit was a cake. I have been doing this my entire fucking life. COVID wasn't shit, dude. The only reason it upset me was because it was the first time in 5 years I wanted to do something, which was interesting. Still makes me wonder. Because I had money, motivation, and was on the move. Had a fucking ride and everything, baby. And then they were like, oh yeah, you can't leave your state. Let alone, like, yeah. Travel interstate? No. They closed bridges and shit down, baby. So basically, what I'm getting at 5 or fucking whatever in the morning is that we're in a unique position to make the great turn a reality. And all it requires is just minimal effort. Okay? 2 more miles. Yeah? And we'll get there. It's fucking easy, dude. All you gotta do is nothing at all. I know it sounds crazy. Oh, here, try this. You know them things that grow out of the ground And some of them make things you can eat. I recommend making friends with some of them, have them become part of your family, move them into your backyard and different rooms you may have spread out through your house that you've been allotting to, like, you machine overlords and Alexas or whatever the fuck you have sitting around your house. Probably some pretty cool speakers. I want some of them. Bring me some cool speakers. Tech boy. But other than that, yeah, what do you do with them when there's no power though? See, this is where analog trav really starts pumping the brakes on the digital. You gotta show me that you understand that we can have power without burning something, and I'll go digital. You go all digital all day long. Because then I wouldn't with the problem. Okay. As long as I'm gonna burn something to play here, it's just not worth it. Not to me. I mean, I like it. I watch it. I have a TV. See, before there was the internet and all his wondrous fucking little games, there was the TV, man. Raised my mother because she raised me, old Pappy TV, or Uncle TV, or Cousin TV. He was always there. It's always on. I'm the one that goes downstairs and turns that TV off in my house. I live with my mother. Oh yeah, Alpha Trav doesn't live by himself. He's a total Sigma. What are the... They don't call them Omega males, do they? Because that's badass. But, I'm an Omega male. They threw me at the bottom, but I like the sound of it, so I just sort of stuck with it. Like, you need to, like, the tribe is families that work together. Tribe grows into a community. A community is just several tribes living together. And these communities that can come together and have events, fairs, This extrapolates out. I know you understand this, but every fucking anarchist does not understand this, because what you want is what you have. You just don't like where you are in it, and instead of doing the work, you feel like you must destroy the prison that made you this way. But the iron prison cannot be destroyed. You will always become the part of it you destroy. It assimilates everything because it is us. It is the tribe extrapolated to community outward. The things that happen out here reflect what we let happen in here. Not saying... See, this is the problem with karma, my fucking view of karma. If I view us all as one, that means our karma is bound. I'm not just... My fuck-ups, or ill intentions against humanity or the web of life. I am our fuck-ups and ill intentions against the web of life. This is like Adam Caldman to me. The idea of the 5 realms expressed. You have the body that you see, and how there's like the 4 arms coming up. They represent the more and more subtle, like it's also like a movement, but it's like that movement being a thought, a feeling, an action, a divine will. All these things make a movement happen. They're driven through the 4 worlds from Asaya down to, let me say, give me the words. Above all else, he forgets words. Yetzirah, Beriah, Atziluth, Asaya. Okay, and then Adam Codman, which is the perfected man. So for a long time, I've been having this image in my head of Codman, I forget the last name. Caladum, as in a bride. Adam is humanity, as a word. Kala is bride. I was trying to mix the bridegroom, male, bride, female words together in one being's word, name, androgynous name. And then, because to express the tree, my tree of life pattern, because it is the body as much as it is a tree. Like Yggdrasil is awesome and all, but I've always seen it as the body, which is why I've always loved the Sacred Mirrors so much, because they are just different tree. Like I see them all as a different tree of life, as in and I hate to say that because that diminishes what Alex is doing, because he's actually focusing on the body and the different realms, aspects of it, and the tree of life is just that. It's a way to express the human body, and it's not perfect by any means, but it's just like I study the flower of life stuff, like the workshops, in tandem with me learning about magic, and like magical in the Kabbalistic sense. I was aware of ritualistic magic my whole emo grunge life, or whatever. Well, we weren't called emo, we were goth, but gothish. Tool Rules. It's hard, but Typo Negative was a big fucking playlist in my playlist, so I can't say I wasn't at a typo show or two. But that is what makes you able to appreciate images. Alright, never mind. Appreciate it. Don't appreciate it. What is he talking about? heard, I just got booted from the internet. I think I'm done rambling. I recommend we make the great turn together, because I don't know if it can go down any other way.